How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. First off, I'm here with my fiance, Thermite Kitty.
It's me. I'm here.
There he is. This is Season 1, Episode 6 of WandaVision. All new Halloween Spooktacular! This was originally supposed to come out in October 2019, right? No, October 2020. And,
October 2020.
Yeah, October 2020. But it got pushed into 2021, still before the Halloween tournament. So this episode never came out on a Halloween thing, but it was intended to.
No. Yeah.
We are, in fact, recording this on Halloween Day. And by Halloween Day, I, of course, mean November 4th.
You've broken the illusion.
We're so close that we tried to get it in Halloween, but we weren't able to.
Yeah.
But still, it's close enough. It's still Halloween feeling around here.
It's a little spooky.
Alright, if you want to get the full length, check it out on Patreon below for $4 a month. If you want to get early access for episodes ahead, you can also get that on the Patreon. Any guesses as to what the Halloween episode is going to be about? I mean, I'm guessing, one, we're moving into the 90s now? Do we already do the 80s? Last episode was the 80s, right? It was the 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
So this episode, assuming it would be the 90s, which is, classic, I think of like Disney Halloween stuff a lot in the 90s, like straight to TV movie stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna feel so weird for me and maybe for you because, like, the 90s, now we're getting into the era where it's less of a, like, oh, that's an old rerun thing, and more of a, like, this is probably just going to be what I think of when I think of a sitcom.
Same, yeah. I don't know, though, because of the Halloween Spooktacular sort of thing. I feel like this is going to feel way more like a direct-to-TV movie.
Okay, I can see that for sure. Like a Halloween Town-ish sort of vibe. I'm really, really hoping that we get, like, everyone wearing Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I want.
Well, okay. So, like, what is Vision going to wear? Like, Wanda could just wear her normal superhero thing. Like, probably her comics thing, more likely. Is Vision that different in the comics?
He's a little different. Like, I think they could definitely, like, just have him, not in human form, and then also wearing, like, a cloth version of what he wears in the comics. It would definitely look, goofier.
Yeah, I think, a cloth version of his normal thing could be interesting. He could also just turn himself into Vision and be like, that works as a Halloween costume. But also, we're not in a great ha-ha place right now, so...
Yeah.
But, it could also be, this is a long shot, but he could dress up as Vision from the Golden Age, the smoke dimension Vision.
That would be such a good cut.
I think it might be too far of a cut, though. We also have Pietro here. We also have him here.
Yeah.
Is he in a Halloween costume already? Does that count?
The look he had last time was pretty wild.
But, okay, let's jump into this and see where everything is going. I'm so fascinated to see where the fucking Pietro stuff's going. But, okay.
So excited.
Let's jump in. Okay, we are here to discuss Episode 6 of WandaVision, all new Halloween Spooktacular! First off, the opening that we got, like the opening, credits theme song sort of thing. Have you ever seen a sitcom that has had an opening like that?
I don't think so. Like, not the, like, I'm a kid and I'm filming it.
Yeah, with the camera. Like, it was so specific, but I don't think I've ever seen a sitcom do that.
Yeah.
It felt much more unique. Like, I could see something like that coming out nowadays, and I'd be like, yeah, they're trying to do, like, a spin on that old thing, where it doesn't feel like the old thing.
Yeah.
But the text certainly was like it's supposed to be like WandaVision, or it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like WandaVision if you didn't know. It's supposed to be like Malcolm in the Middle. Like that's for certain. Like I know that has to be the case.
Yeah, and like the dynamic of the OP, like specifically, like Wanda yelling at the person with the camera, and Vision like trying to whack him with a paper. Like that is what I do think of from like 90s openings.
Mhm.
It is the like, yeah, this is a family, but we all hate each other, or not that necessarily, but like that
Yeah,
vibe compared to like earlier sitcoms.
yeah, and it's just like we said, when we were going into this episode, it was going to feel like just like a sitcom to us because this is the era of sitcoms that we grew up with. But as far as like all the '90s sitcoms go, I can't think of another one that was like this besides Malcolm in the Middle. Like I feel like most of the other stuff in the '90s was trying to was either an animated thing like this, like this dynamic of a family was way more of like an animated thing versus like in live action. I can only think of Malcolm in the Middle, and everything else was trying way harder to be the main character is a fat boomer old man, and like that's the whole dynamic. But like it's like with the kids, Malcolm in the Middle is the only one I can think of. Whereas the rest of them, I feel like were a school setting, or again, it was the boomer was a protagonist, or something like that.
Yeah.
But like a show where the kid is a protagonist and it takes place mostly at home, I can only think of Malcolm, and like where the family is very dysfunctional and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I'm mainly thinking of.
I was just surprised it was so specific. It feels like. Especially with Pietro, I could not stop feeling like this is we're doing Francis, like this is Francis.
Yeah.
Whereas like the rest of them don't have like maybe not as much, but that is what I really got the most out of there. But yeah, I was just very surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot more like again as you like it was just going to feel like a sitcom to us. Like we couldn't pick up a specific thing, and it would just feel like a sitcom, but not really. I mean, it felt like a very specific sitcom to me.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do one of them, that's the one you should do.
Yeah, this is such a good era for the twins to be like, like not little kids, but 10 years old or so, because we can see them playing video games and whatnot.
They get to do the talking to the camera, which honestly tells us more of stuff that we didn't know, which is nice.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing the twins have more like interiority.
I'm surprised we didn't do a joke about like this being the Day of the Dead, and we have Vision and Pietro.
Yeah, I think the dead Pietro and the just the ending visuals of like Vision falling apart, like the Sears itself is very creepy and spooky in its own rights, but I think they definitely like amped it up by like a little notch for the Spooktacular.
Sir, I don't know about like I would say some of the other episodes were much more spookier. To be fair, like this one was more like peril. Like I mean, I thought the Vision was going to actually die again. But yeah, I don't know if this episode was creepier to me than the rest of the episodes, because it was more like, well, I understand what's going on now, and it's more of a like an understandable wrap my head around horror rather than a like I don't know what's going on horror.
Fair.
Like the unexplained is always more terrifying to me than a threat I know. Like I think the other episodes had that like creepypasta vibe as I was talking about, whereas this has like a horror movie vibe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Once,
yeah, like
I really quick, I just want to say, I don't think I mentioned it in the episode, but Agnes wearing a witch costume again. I had fallen off my prediction last episode, but now I'm clutching back onto that. Even though I don't see how, but
yeah, she's definitely being affected by this. Which, I mean, that could be its own thing. It could be a, like, she has some resistance, or, like, she was planning something, but then, like, she got stopped here.
Yeah. But she also is like, oh, Vision, you're one of the Avengers. You kind of, like, I don't know, just the way she was acting as, not her mind-controlled self was extremely weird, but not anything that made me suspicious of her in any way.
Yeah. It didn't seem like she was planning anything specifically.
Or knew anything more than a normal person would. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But, was there anything else you wanted to say about the creepier horror aspect of it?
Just that, like, Vision being on the outskirts, and, like, us seeing the outskirts, and understanding now that, like the very animated, very like, people do maybe have their own lives a little bit energy. Like, that's really just the interior or wherever Wanda is. Like, just the idea that, the population of Westview is massive. And so many of those people are just, frozen among the outskirts, not doing anything but being fully aware of it, is so disturbing to me.
Oh yeah, that is some horrifying shit. And again, like, the whole conversation between her and Pietro where she is trying to justify it to herself.
Yeah. And it did strike me
I assume maybe she created another Pietro too. The fact that Vision could leave makes me actually question that. Is that not her talking to herself? Did she literally create another Pietro?
Yeah. Like, before we move on, oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. So let's move on instead to Pietro. Just that, like, I don't know if that was her talking to herself because of how, like, interrogating Pietro was.
Right,
like,
but have you never done that to yourself? I've talked to myself and been very, like that to myself, like very investigative at my own self.
I have, but never in that tone. Never in the, like, I know what this is. Like, I'm just gonna straight up say what this thing is. Isn't that interesting? But I don't know how you did this part.
I do that a lot, so
okay,
that didn't feel that weird to me. Like, it's not the tone. Like, it is the, like, I don't know, like, the thing that makes me question it is just seeing Vision leave the place. Like, that's the main thing. Other than that, I didn't question, like, is this actually her or not? Up until then, I was like, well, this is definitely her. I mean, even until just a few seconds ago, I was still thinking that. But then I was like, wait, why do I think that, but not Vision? So, yeah, I think that's got to be what it is. I mean, she ages the kids up and everything. It's unclear if
I mean, to be fair, she did not age the kids up.
No.
The kids aged the kids up.
But, I mean, the kids aged themselves up, which is a thing in and of itself already. Whereas, like, I don't think we've seen anybody else age themselves up. They may dress in different clothes, but I don't know if they're aging.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have to be aging a hell of a lot because that's, a lot of years, a lot of decades to be going through.
No, it doesn't seem like anyone is changing through the decades. Like, same with, the one guy that we know from the neighborhood watch that we saw in this episode is like, he looks basically, Herb, he looks basically the same as he did in, like, the 40s.
I don't know, he looked a little bit dead to me in this episode. But Tish. But, yeah, I don't think the rest of them are aging or anything, so I think it's just something weird going on with the twins. Which, again, I'm now thinking that they might just leave this and still be the twins and still be in the MCU going forward.
I could definitely see that happening.
Because, I mean, I don't know anything about Wiccan other than just, like, I know the name and the design. Oh, just mainly because the design looks so fucking cool to me.
Yeah.
But, I don't think I want to know yet, but I would not be surprised if it was like, yeah, Wiccan is just the son of Wanda and somebody else. And, yeah, that's just and like the same as the other kid. Like, if Wanda actually did have twins and there was these two and they had the exact same powers or something, I wouldn't be that surprised. Little tiny Quicksilver. I don't know what that kid's name would be. Like, I haven't heard anything about something else like that, so I don't know. But I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's a reference to something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did find it very clever that Tommy's whole thing was just, I'm dressing like my like I'm just dressing like Pietro because I like my older uncle. Or, to be fair, it's not even necessarily that he did that. To be fair, like, Pietro just grabs him and they both leave and they both come up like dressed like that. So Pietro could have just made the same costume for him as well.
It's true.
He may have not said it.
The only costume in the store. I did love seeing Pietro with the hair wisps and everything like that because it's probably my favorite design for Quicksilver. Like, I do love, the X-Men Quicksilver, the one we have in this episode. But
yeah.
I do love the X-Men Quicksilver. The MCU Quicksilver is probably, I mean, nothing interesting about design. Seeing it again, it was like, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. But it's not like it's a cool character design. I really love it as a character design, but as a Quicksilver character design, not as much. But honestly, the original comic design of Quicksilver, I like the most. Like, I do love the little hair wisps that don't make any sense, and they look so stupid.
Yeah.
But I love them because they're so distinct looking.
Yeah, like, he has a very recognizable silhouette.
And I don't know, there's something about his little hair wisps that, like, the fact that he runs at, like, you know, Mach speed, like, he's running faster than anything else ever, but yet his hair doesn't, you know, his hair is totally fine. He's got these hair wisps that come out, but they stay exactly in place. And honestly, that makes you buy into the, like, you know, like, he can control a little bit of, like, he's not just, like, the classic, if you had super speed, you just run into a wall and kill yourself sort of thing. Where it's like, I don't know, the hair thing sort of makes me feel like I understand the speed stuff more. I don't know why, it's only that simple, but it's like, the fact that his hair doesn't move while he's running that fast makes me go like, yeah, I buy it. I don't know why, I can't explain it. It's such a weird small thing, but... Like, I can buy, like, well, the G-forces don't affect his body in any way, because I can see even his hair doesn't move, so...
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm just so glad we got, like, a full whole episode with him being Pietro, but also, like, specifically being the MCU Pietro, but also not, like, it's a different Pietro than we've gotten in the X-Men, it's a different Pietro than we've gotten in the MCU, it's one combining the two of them, essentially, and all this new shit as well, because he has to be 90s-ified. Yeah, just absolutely so much fun.
Yeah. Like, he works so well as the, like, I don't think this being a 90s thing, but, you know, the cool older character who shows up in the sitcom and he's like, hey, I'm wacky.
I definitely think of that as being more of a 90s sort of thing. Even if it's, like, the like, cool neighbor or whatever. I think of that more as a 90s thing than anything.
Okay.
Because 90s was, like, the era of the cul-de-sac. And I think that's, like, where that character comes from the most. Again, a lot of, like, cartoon stuff, I see it more often, where it's, like, a couple episodes in, a character, not, like, the main character, but a character will be like, my brother's coming to town. And their older brother is, like, you know, a pretty big asshole, but also, like, the epitome of cool.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think of that as a very 90s thing. But, yeah. I do think of it way more as the friend character's big brother coming to town. Which, to be fair, this episode is more from, like, the kids' perspective than anything. So it is kind of like their mom's big brother coming to town.
You know, I think I just realized what the commercial was.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, the yogurt is Yo Magic, and, like, it's got the big red strawberries on it, and the whole concept is this kid can't open it up, and because he can't have the yogurt, he dies. Like, that is essentially what happens to Vision. Like,
yeah,
without the magic, he dies.
I guess that, yeah, that's true. Well, is that true, or was it that the Hex was, like, pulling him, like, I think of this as in, like, if a normal person tried to leave, like, they were able to somehow, Vision, you know, got their memory back and they were able to leave, I think they would just be disintegrated. Like, I think the Hex would try and pull them back in, but by doing that, it would just rip them apart and completely destroy them. But because he's adamantium, it didn't. But, I mean, well, it was, but just a lot slower.
Yeah.
Which also says an insane amount about Wanda's powers.
Yeah.
She was able to rip it off by tiny little pieces, too. Like, not ripping chunks off, which is more, like, that's already insane. But the fact that she was able to rip tiny little pieces off like dust is crazy powerful.
The only thing I would question about that reading is, like, if that is the case, like, if the Hex would just pull them back in, then I'd question why Wanda didn't just, like, pull him back in harder, as opposed to, like, making the area bigger.
I don't know if she knows that it would do that.
True, because we do know that, like, we have now confirmed that she doesn't know how this all started. And then, like, the way in which this works is, you know, very suspect as to how much she knows or how much she could change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And,
like, she might not know. Like, she might have just been like, well, the only thing I could think of to do is make the space bigger.
Yeah, because she would know that was going to work, because passing through the barrier completely changes your molecules, so it would ostensibly also heal you.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, well, injury is not allowed in here.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Also, what do you think's happening to Monica?
Ah, so yeah, that definitely like tells me that, like she probably didn't have powers before this. Like, the weirdness is not you were, hiding this all along. It is like, no, her molecules are just changing forever.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean about the
So,
people inside Westview? Are their molecules changed, or is it because the barrier was put up around them that if they don't pass through the barrier, they're fine?
yeah, because Monica also went through it twice, whereas, yeah, like, theoretically, it would be different if, like, they never go through the barrier.
Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, what's going to happen to Monica? Because now it's whatever, like, Monica went through it twice, maybe now 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else only went through it once. They might just be fine. Like, there might not be any real lasting effects.
Yeah.
But there also could be a lasting effect for, like, everybody that went through this.
Yeah. Like, we've brought up repeatedly, like, in the series, that both Captain Marvel and, like, Wanda got their powers from an Infinity Stone. And they seem to be, very much playing that up as like, that's why Wanda is so powerful, that's why Captain Marvel is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that then raises the question of, like Monica's not getting her power from an Infinity Stone, but she's getting it from someone who got their powers from an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
So, like, how much does the effect decrease?
That is a good, like, yeah, like, I don't have an answer for it, but it's an interesting question.
Yeah. Because, yeah, if she's gone through it 3 times, like, if she's not already in, then she's definitely going to try and go back in. And so at that point, like, I imagine she might just straight up have powers at that point.
Yeah, like, whether she went in or not, she's planning to go in again, so I think we can confidently say she's going to be in there 3 times.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, boy. Because, yeah, that also means that, like, if everyone in Westview has their molecules, like, permanently changed a little bit, I could see them doing, like, they're having, like, the MCU doesn't have a lot of, I'm just a person who got their powers by being hit by electricity, or I'm just a person who, had X happen and now I have powers. They could, have this be a big, like, now everyone in Westview has the potential for, like, X ability or Y ability, or, like, maybe this could be how the MCU does mutants or something.
Could be. This is how mutants are created.
We discriminate against these people from Westview, specifically because of this one thing.
Oh my god.
We're Westvutants.
No, don't you dare! Oh, I want to end it right now just on that, but I feel like I haven't talked about everything. Actually, like, a lot of the answers are very clear. I'm not sure if there's much to say about them. Like, we found out, stuff about how, like, what Wanda is doing, but we kind of already talked about that. Like, the people towards the edge are not really, like, alive, they're not living through their lives. But I mean, the one thing we didn't get is, like, what happened to the kids? Like, is it what he said? Where it's like the kids were just like, she was just like, I don't want to put the kids through any more trauma than I have to, so I'm going to leave them in their beds just sleeping for decades until I decide I want to use them.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how it happened, so, like, if that was her talking to herself, that, Pietro could have been playing the part of Wanda saying, like, yeah, I didn't really think about this until Vision, asks, like, let's interrogate this. What have I been doing with the kids? What's been going on?
Yeah, could be. Oh, so much. But, like, is that all what's going on, or is it not? Like, her keeping families together, I feel like is definitely true, keeping couples together and all that, but the specifics...
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got clarification on stuff that we've been thinking about for a while now. But
I'm really glad that, like, we had a step forward, but it's also not a big, complete clarifying step.
Like, yeah, just slowly getting... the cutaway scene, by the way, was so fucking good.
Yeah. That was the most just like, wait, what?
They always talk about Sokovia like it is the worst place on Earth, and yet when we saw Sokovia, it seemed pretty fine. Like, it seemed very first world.
Yeah.
But yet now, every time we see it, we talk about it. They talk about it like it's just like the worst possible place to live.
I'm so curious to see if we're going to get a Sokovia flashback, like an actual one. Because I mean, even Wanda said about the cutaway, like she didn't think that was how it happened.
Yeah, like, what was that? Like, the only time like we've seen it be pretty terrible is like when Tony was trying to arrest everybody with robots. That's like the only time where it was like, yeah, this place looks horrible right now. But every other time, even like when we were fighting over there, it was just like, yeah, this looks fine.
Yeah. The only bad things that happen are, you know, when the country is in war. And that's a real, like, any country looks bad during war.
Yeah.
Like, if we cut to, you know, the scene where Wanda and Pietro are under the bomb that's, you know, going to kill them if they move, and we see that also looks bad, I'll give them the pass as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
know
like,
what,
well,
I
no
get
shit,
it.
that looks bad. I mean, to be fair, that's also like looking at a demolished house and being like, damn, this country looks bad. It's like, you're looking at one house.
It happens.
But yeah, I think that's all we have to say about the episode. You got anything else you want to chime in with?
Not really. Excited to see how Darcy fares inside of the simulation. Or the hex, I should probably call it now.
Oh yeah, I am so excited to see what she's going to be wearing. We're going to be entering into the 2000s next, which, holy shit, that's going to be... I don't even know what I think of when I think of 2000s. First of all, actually, did Malcolm in the Middle come out in the 90s? I actually want to look this up. In my mind, it actually
Pretty
came
sure
out...
it's a 90s show.
like right on the cusp of 2000. It premiered in 2000, so it's not even a 90s show.
Okay.
I was going to say, like, what do I think of when I think of a 2000 show? I guess Malcolm in the Middle. Wait a second. But yeah, it ran from 2000 to 2006. So, not a 90s show, but that's exactly what this episode reminded me of. So, I don't know what I'm expecting for 2000 then.
Yeah, because I was going to say Modern Family, but Modern Family, I'm pretty sure, is a 2010s show.
Yeah, oh yeah, Modern Family is much more modern than that.
Yeah.
Like, again,
I don't...
2000s boomers, like King of Queens.
Is King of Queens a 2000
I
show?
don't know, actually, it's probably not at all. I just know there's on reruns all the time. 98 to 2007.
So still very doable.
Basically the same as Malcolm in the Middle, yeah. But yeah, I got nothing to guess. A lot of leather. That's my guess. You got any guesses for 2000s?
I think 2000s is going to have a lot of the kids, like, if they age themselves up and become teenagers, then I think it's going to be a, like, I don't think we're going to get a school or anything, but I think it's going to be very, like, rebellious.
Okay. I can also see, like, the... How do you want to say this? Like, very... minimalist designs on, like, the buildings and her house and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the 2000s being that aesthetic of everybody who works an extremely poor job but lives in a luxury apartment.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that it's going to be, you know, very clean, very, like, crisp, very, like, unlived in for a lot of stuff.
Filter over it, maybe. A lot of 2000 shit had big, like, soft filters.
Yeah. I'm also very impressed that the, like, visuals of this episode were, like, it was definitely a filter over all the stuff, but and, like, it wasn't modern technology yet. Like, the closer and closer we get to modern filming, the harder and harder I imagine it must be for the creators to, like, keep the camera work and everything feeling like it is, you know, like, of the period.
Like, yeah, this one felt very much like we're just, like, watching. Like, it didn't... The comedic scenes were really well done, but other than that, the camera work didn't stand out, really. Would you say that, or would you say it actually did stand out for you?
I wouldn't say it stood out that much. It was just like, yeah, it was very like 2000 sitcom-y to me.
Yeah, the comedic scenes are what really made it feel like, you know, a 90s show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, 2000s, what do I think of when I think of a lot of, like, fast pans, a lot of heavy cuts. That's what I think of when I think of the 2000s. And a lot of moving the camera for no reason. That's also what I expect. A lot of, like, we're holding on a shot, this should be a tripod shot, but instead, we're gonna make somebody hold the camera and it's just gonna shake a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, like, internet humor.
Oh, big internet humor. Big, strong white lighting. Like, really hard lighting. Which is gonna contrast insane with the show. It's super dark. Like, all the sword stuff's so dark.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like, the return of the laugh track as well.
Very possible.
2000s brought back the laugh track. We said we need it. We don't know when to laugh. Please help us.
Oh man, what if for like the early eras, all the like, this is such an insane idea. My idea was, what if like a bunch of the cast that we didn't see were all crowded around the house, and they were the in-person laugh track?
That would be absolutely insane. I don't know how that would work. I'm not gonna even humor that, I guess.
They're all just sitting right out of shot laughing.
No way in hell.
Fine.
Also, what is Wanda's connection with Agnes, though? Because if Agnes is innocent here, then Wanda has been pulling her in every time she needs something.
Yeah.
And also, if this is what Pietro said of, oh, their personalities are similar to their real life personalities, what the fuck, Agnes? Like, everybody else I can buy, but Agnes, that's her real personality.
She is the wacky next door neighbor.
She got real lucky that she got a real wacky next door neighbor.
Or, to be fair, it could be the opposite with Agnes. It could be, like, she is the only person in there who, like, has been totally overwritten because she has to keep on coming in order to be, in order to, like, save the day.
I mean, the way that she was talking, it wasn't similar, but it was also weird as fuck. The way that she was talking to Vision.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, the just dead was so weird. That gave me creepypasta vibes again. That was the big, like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah. I mean, that could also be a weird simulation problem, though, because that did remind me a lot of the first episode with Mr. Hart's wife. And how, like, she was stuck saying the same thing over and over again until they fixed the situation.
Yeah, could be that. Just a glitch. But she wasn't in the system at that point. But still could be. Anyway.
You are right about that, though.
That's it for this episode. We gotta end it somewhere. We're gonna go on for 2 more hours.
Yeah, I said everything I wanted to say.
Same. Alright, we will see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.